Back for part 2 on the 2010 Buick Lacrosse with the ABS problem. So we condemned the ABS module last time. It's failing to send out a consistent 12 volt feed to the steering angle sensor and the yaw rate sensors. We tap on the module, signal drops out, and yes, you might be able to bypass that with an ignition source, but in this case for a customer's car, it has to do with safety equipment. So we're going to replace this module. I got a brand new one in Rock Auto. There was the part number. And here's the module. It ends with a 50 instead of a 40, but it's what was in the box. So factory part. And to replace this thing, book time is under 2 hours, but I'm hoping we don't have to disconnect any of the brake lines because the module lives under the ABS pump, which is buried under the coolant reservoir. So let's start tearing stuff apart. I want to just plug in the new module into the car before attaching it to the hydraulic unit. Make sure we can program this thing, make sure the 12 volt feed is good going to those sensors, and then once I'm confident that this new module is happy, we'll actually attach it, piggyback it to the hydraulic unit. That's going to be a challenge. So brand new module is plugged into the car, and I have the scope on just one channel on that 12 volt feed that goes to the steering angle sensor. Also, battery maintainers on this thing, 13.5 volts. So we want to maintain battery voltage during testing and programming. Now let's jump into the car, scan this thing for codes, load up SPS2, make sure that 12 volt feed is solid, and we'll go ahead and try to program this module. So scope is rolling, just one channel. Let me turn the key on, and we'll see if that jumps right up to 12 volts. Key on. We have nothing. Let's jump into diagnosis. Scan this thing for codes. I don't know if the module needs to be programmed to turn on that 12 volt reference. We have absolutely nothing on the scope right now, which is a little surprising. But let's take it one step at a time. Yep, 3 liter. And smart scan. Let's see what comes up. I goofed. I had the lead plugged into the wrong port. Yep, we're steady at 12 volts, so that's good. Now we'll just scan this thing for codes, make sure it's only programming required. We'll go from there. Okay, so here's the full health report in the EBCM pump motor circuit, obviously because it's not connected to the hydraulic unit. Traction control system pressure circuit, yep, that's to be expected. There's also a little spring-loaded contact that's not active right now. Electronic control unit software, so it needs programming. Primary high-speed CAN bus subnet configuration list malfunction. Yes, that will be taken care of by the programming. System disabled, lost communication with EBCM. Okay, so we're done here. Let's log out and log into SPS2 with the Bosch Mastertech pass-through. So I'm going to turn this off, and let's just do a quick tap test on the new module to be 100% sure that this 12 volt feed is 100% solid. Alright, so we got the scope rolling. We're just going to do a quick little tap test. Wiggle the wires, wiggle the connectors. Everything's amazing. So I'm confident we're ready to program this module. So TechLine Connect is all updated, ready to go. Bosch Mastertech 2 connected to the DLC. Key is on, battery maintainer is on. Let's see if this thing will talk. There we go. And with programming, you're at the mercy of software, hardware. Sometimes you just have to wait. No service data found. I mean, come on. Do we at least have the right VIN? Yes, 7681. That's the correct VIN. So we want to replace and reprogram. Next, EBCM, Electronic Brake Control Module. So we want to do programming. There's also configuration, programming, and setup. So 3 different things. Let's do programming first. Okay, so here's the screen that comes up. Current calibration is unrecognized, and the newest one is a 133-28672. Next, so always take a picture of this screenshot. So it's a brand new blank virgin module, and we're going to write these calibrations to it. So start programming, and cross your fingers that it'll go through. So this programming is going fairly quickly, maybe a couple minutes. So that estimated time remaining makes you feel good. You know, if it's dropping faster than expected. So we'll let that finish up and see what codes are left. I'm not sure we have to do the setup, but we can look in OEM service info. So in electronic brake control module programming and setup, when you're replacing this thing, it says perform the SPS function EBCM programming and follow the on-screen instructions. Just did that, so that is complete. And then, you don't want to skip this step, perform the configuration and setup and follow the on-screen instructions. Okay, so we need to keep going. Setup procedure for complete the repair. Steering angle sensor, calibrate the steering angle sensor, multi-axis acceleration sensor, calibrate the brake pressure sensor. So we haven't installed it on the vehicle yet. Okay, so proceed with same VIN. The calibration we'll have to do once it's fully installed. There's configuration, setup, programming, and setup. Let's try configuration. Configuration and setup. Performing ECU configuration. What did I just do there? Okay, so it says configuration is complete. I'll print screen that. Okay, proceed same VIN. Let's see if the setup function will work. I don't know why they can't just do it all in one step. It'd make it a lot easier so you don't miss something. Let's try setup next. Line the front wheel, center the steering wheel. I'm sure the scanner, the regular scanner, could do this. Yes. Downloading calibrations from server. Maybe not. Next. So basically, let's do this later once we have fully installed, because it will look for the brake pressure sensor. So we'll cancel that. Cancel that. Now let's do the hard part of actually putting this thing on the ABS pump. So just to double check with the regular launch scanner, we have 2 codes left: pump motor circuit open, traction control system pressure circuit malfunction. That's to be expected because the module is not installed on the hydraulic unit just yet. Let's see in special functions if we can do a calibration. So we can do brake pressure sensor calibration, steering wheel angle sensor learn, yaw rate sensor learn. So we can do all this from the scanner. We don't need the whatever setup function in the SPS2. So not worry about that at all. Let's install it on the ABS pump. Alright, let's start peeling back the onion. I want to get the battery out of here, maybe swing the engine computer out of the way, get this tray out so we can get to our prize, the EBCM. So let's remove all of these main fused wires, and they are numbered, so not a huge deal, and the nuts are supposed to stay with the wires. They're even like coated in there. Alright, so we got this little sucker out of the way. And here's a tip. Just put spare battery cap terminals on the battery to avoid any accidental shorting of anything. So I always do that. And now we can get, well, that's already loose. Okay, let's get this out of the way, maybe the tray, and we'll have some access. Alright, so there's our prize. You see the EBCM is screwed into the hydraulic unit from the bottom by 4 screws. So we need to get this bracket out of the way. The bracket's attached to the hydraulic pump with 1 screw here and 1 on the back, or actually 2 on the back. And then the bracket is attached to the body by 1, 2, 3 bolts there. So what's the easiest or path of least resistance? Let's try to get the big 3 out to get this thing moving, and then we can do the little ones, get the bracket out of the way, and hopefully we can get in there from the bottom with a wobble or something and get that EBCM off. The last bolt's being the most stubborn, so we got the bracket off and it's out here. This bolt's out, and from the back we have those 2. One of them's out, the other one right there. I'm going to try to get a long 1/4 inch back here and crack that loose. Let's see if that works. Okay, it's on there. You definitely don't want to strip this. Oh, well, that wasn't that bad. The leverage makes all the difference. Let's try that again. You'd think it would just come out by hand. Okay, it's coming. There's our prize. Finally now, the bracket should be free from the EBCM. Now, how do we get the bracket out? Because it's kind of sandwiched in there. Let me try to figure that one out. Let me get that EBCM off there. So this is the special tool, MVP tool of the day. T20 extended with a little mini ratchet holder. Get behind here, underneath, do the reach around move. You can see where my socket is. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. I'm going to take those out, swap it over, and put this thing back in its home. Old module, new module. They look the same. So we'll have to fish this in here and gently insert it like so. Put those little screws in, pull everything back together, do that calibration, take it for a test drive. We're almost there. Alright, we're back into SPS2. Everything is put back together. It auto ID'd the vehicle this time, so that's a good thing. So SPS2, and we want to do that final setup procedure. We'll just do OEM, even though the launch, I'm sure it can do it. So reprogram next. Finding supported controllers and EBCM. We want to do setup next. We should have no more trouble codes stored. I should walk us through step by step to do this setup. Before starting procedure, align the front wheel straight instead of the steering wheel. It's on the money. Next. Okay, next, place the front wheel and steering wheel. Okay, next, check ignition, press on, press next, ignition off, press next. I don't know if they mean minutes or seconds, probably seconds. You know, GM, they don't count time in seconds or minutes. And turn ignition on, press next. Finish. Finish. Guess that's it. It's not telling me to do anything else. Oh, here we go. So we'll record that just in case. And we'll just clear all the DTCs while we're here. Then we'll plug in the other scanner. Take this thing for a test drive. Make sure it's happy. Ready to go back to the customer. Alright, we finally have a clean bill of health here. Let's fire this thing up. Make sure there are no warning lights. Take it for a good test drive. And in the EBCM, I want to double check the steering angle sensor, the brake pressure sensor. Steering wheel angle, brake pedal position, brake pressure sensor. Let's look at those. Yep, that works. and I'm going to press the brake pedal and release it. Why does it say 783? Maybe that's in the accumulator, but it's happy. Well, let's keep graphing those and take it for a spin, see what happens. Maybe do an ABS stop. Alright, so far so good. Let's do an ABS stop. Yep, ABS kicks in. Everything's happy. I think it should be good to go. But that brake pressure sensor, that's a little weird. Let's see, under special functions, brake pressure sensor calibration, stay off the brake pedal, okay. Procedure complete, everything's okay. Still says 783. Now, when we go into EBCM, it gives me two options. I don't know what this 1201 or read fault code. It's happy, so we'll just leave it alone. Alright, we're on the paved road. And one thing I really despise about these new sedans and other new cars is outward visibility. Look how thick the pillars are. Look how small the window is. You can barely see out the rear view mirror. Huge blind spots everywhere. I know they say we do it for safety, but if you can't see where you're going, you're gonna end up in an accident. Just a personal opinion, but car's driving fine. V6 power, smooth, brakes work great. So, I think we're done with this car. What's the moral of the story? Just another classic parts cannon based on trouble codes. Steering angle sensor, yaw rate sensor. Yeah, they were offline, but for what reason? No one ever did the diagnostics. They just poked some holes, spread the pins out, created more problems. So we had to fix that and finally got to the root cause, which was an internal failure in the ABS module, not providing the power to those sensors. Pretty crazy. I haven't seen that particular failure before, but I'm not surprised at all. You know, the module's what, 10, 14 years old, so electronics do break down. At least it was available brand new, unlike some Chrysler products that Dodge Ram couldn't even get a module. So that's it. Thanks all for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.